missing something. But it's too late now. We are live. Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Live call-in show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, senior recruiting editor for Auburn Live on 3. Today is Sunday, March the 30th, 2025. We are less than 3 minutes from Auburn advancing to the Final Four, folks. For the second time in the past 6 years, for the second time in school history, beat Michigan State 70-64. Sent the mighty Spartans home a couple of days after the mighty Wolverines. Auburn owns the state of Michigan. It is official, and they are also the only team in the state still playing basketball. Oh, I love seeing Dude whoop that ass. But I got to give old Dude credit. Grant Nelson, when he stuffed Cooper Flag, was fantastic. Listen, let me introduce my fellas here. We're going to get to all the basketball. Football had a practice Saturday. A lot of recruits were there. Baseball team still playing. We'll get to them later on, if ever. I'm just kidding. But here to do it with me, as they always are, 100% of the time when they're here, Mr. Cole Pinkston, Sir Allen Head. How about you?
How about you? Final Four.
How about a little excitement? I'm going to get Kevin to call in here. At Wilmer, Alabama.
Oh, no doubt, dude.
I'm gonna troll Bama fans real quick on Twitter. I'm gonna say I just checked my notes, and yes, Auburn.
You can't help it.
Auburn is the only college in the states still playing basketball. They're gonna kill me, big dog.
And pickup don't count.
Pickup don't count. Hey, speaking of Final Four, before we get to the call, 701-779-9585. It was a fantastic game. We're going to talk about that basketball game. Everybody wants to hear about it. I do too. Sure. Give us some call before we do. If you're looking for real estate, little help in Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, look no further for the help you need. Miss Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group. A fitting phone number right here, folks. 334-704-4442. Final Four. A lot of fours in that number, Mr. Allen Head, but she's a freaking 5-star realtor. Don't let the NCAA tournament fool you. There's a Final Four, but she's a freaking 5-star realtor. Give her a call, man. Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group. She's fantastic. I see it day in and day out. I mean, when your clients make you shirts that say 5-star realtor, you're a freaking 5-star realtor. If you don't believe me, just ask me. I'll tell you. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. Tell her we sent you. All right, fellas. Big win. And I'll tell you what. Let's don't act like the biggest story, aside from this win, was the realization, I think, that Auburn fans had when Jani Broom left. And I don't know that there was anybody that looked at that injury, that looked at the face, that read his lips and said, he's not done. I mean, he's done. I thought that's what he said. I'm done. I thought it looked like a hyperextended elbow. You don't come back from those things. Not that quickly. Dude returns 5 minutes later. But I will say this. Hits a three, some good rebounds. I don't know why he was in at the very end. You don't have your worst free throw shooter in free throw situations, but hey, I'll tell BP that and make sure he gets that fixed. But while he's out, I don't think there was a drop off as far as point scores. I think might have been a 1 point difference while he was gone.
I think they held him even. I think it went 15-15 with him out. Jani Johnson hitting that last free throw there to keep it pretty much even. And you have to give the team a lot of credit for hanging in there. To lose your leader in that way, you don't really know if he's coming back or not. Auburn wasn't hitting shots in the same way that they were when he was in there, and the offensive flow wasn't the same, but the intensity level didn't change a bit. They just geared it up even more on the defensive end. Give Dylan Cardwell, give Jani Johnson, Miles Kelly fighting for rebounds down there. He didn't have his best shooting night, but by God, you couldn't tell because on the defensive end, they were going toe-to-toe with one of the better teams in the entire country. I mean, this was the team that won the Big Ten. This is a team, Michigan State, who's got a Hall of Fame head coach, a guy that's been to 8 Final Fours, won a national championship, and is undefeated in the tournament against the SEC until right now. My man, you're muted.
was a good thing I was cussing. No, I'm just that was one of the more impressive stats that I saw on the screen was Tom Izzo was 10-0, I believe, against SEC teams in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And you know what? I came in about, I think it was 10-8 Auburn. And then Auburn went on like that 15-0 run. It was 23-8. Then my buddy Caleb sends me a text saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to whoop their ass." I said, "You don't ever do that." And then Michigan State went on like a 10-0 run.
Of course.
Freaking amateurs, dude. I was like, is this your first time watching sports? You don't do that.
Rookie hour for sure.
Yes.
Glasses of that Iron Bowl there, Jeffrey. Remember that?
Yes. I mean, I'm around a bunch of amateurs. I'm speaking Allen Head terms here.
There you go.
These amateurs.
Oh, how many times have I caught it on the board for that?
But man, I'm so I was so glad. But anyway, my point was, did Auburn ever trail?
No.
I never saw them trail, but I didn't get there until 10-8.
No, I think they led start to finish. Maybe they trailed early. Maybe it got – I felt like it got knotted at 6. And, Zach, correct me if I'm wrong. And then Auburn pushed it out from that point moving forward.
Yeah.
And I don't think it ever got tied again.
And then kept basically a 10-point or more lead throughout the game.
Yeah. And let's be honest here. If Jani doesn't hyperextend his elbow, I feel pretty comfortable saying Auburn wins that one by 12 to 14 points.
I felt like they did anyways. I was surprised it was only a 6-point. Did they hit a garbage bucket at the end? Because I was trying to eat supper real quick.
Michigan State hit a couple of threes there. Auburn didn't handle the press all that well, made a couple of turnovers and kind of some clumsy plays down the stretch, but did enough. You know what? They hit their free throws when they got to the line, minus the 2 that Jani shot. And the reason he was in there is you had to have a rebounder in the game. He's an elite passer. And so when you're trying to break the press, having somebody in there that, that you trust to be able to make a solid decision.
There you go.
Michigan State did lead once, 5 minutes into the game, 8-6. And then Auburn went on that, 10-0 run or something like that. Okay.
So they did get to 8-6. I remember when it got knotted.
It was 23-8. They went on I think it was a 15-0 run. It was 23-8. Because I had just turned, when I started watching the game, Auburn went on a 15-0 run, and I was like, yeah, you're welcome. I did this.
Bringing that look. But how different does this one feel, Jeffrey? I mean, you covered the first one. You were attached with rivals at the time, and that 2019 run that they went on, where you were kind of an underdog pretty much throughout, right? Like it was a very different feeling this time around. You're the number 1 seed, number 1 overall, and you go out there and you handle business as expected. And you didn't always play your best, but I felt like beyond Alabama State, your effort and energy were always there. And it was just kind of refreshing to watch an Auburn team play up to expectation and to be able to handle the moment on the biggest stage and not necessarily fold in a way that would have been counterproductive to what you just accomplished, which is your second trip to the Final Four and a shot at Florida, who's not playing their best basketball. Now, I'm not in any way saying Auburn's going to win that game, right? But I think they've got a shot. I think they could bust Florida's ass. They catch them the right way.
If I'm not mistaken, did Isaac Okoro not get hurt in the Elite 8 in 2019?
Chuma Kiki.
That's what I said. It was deja vu for me when Broom went down. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me! This literally happened 6 years ago. The last time Auburn was in this position, their best player goes down.
Yes,
Chuma didn't come back.
No, because he got hurt in the Sweet 16 game. Remember, it was the North Carolina game, and then Auburn beats Kentucky in overtime, and then the Final Four game. Obviously, what happened. But he got hurt, and Auburn went on that big run against North Carolina where was it D'Angelo?
Yes,
he came in for him and hit 3 consecutive threes, and then they blew UNC out of the water in that game.
I felt like D'Angelo was eating a chicken sandwich at one point, sitting on the bench, and then just came in and hit 3 threes in a row. It was insane because he hadn't even touched the floor at that point and came in cold and hit those.
And I had similar feelings after I saw Jani go back. I was like, man, look, just hold on and win this game, and then that's the best you're going to do. I mean, hey, you got to the Final Four. Your best player's out, arguably the best player in the country. You're without him.
Played like it today for sure.
Absolutely. And I thought it was – I think it's going to be very tough for Auburn to get the Final Four stacked.
Yes.
Auburn is 1 and 2. Auburn's played all 3 teams, if I'm not mistaken.
And they've only won 1.
1 and 2. 1 and 2 against this group. So I was like, just get to the Final Four. You can hang the banner and, take your licks next weekend in San Antonio and just call it. You did a great job, great season, right? And then Jani comes back and pops that three, and he's actually not only back, but he's effective. He's making difference, making impacts, and I'm going, wow, maybe this team has a shot.
I think they do. I honestly look now. You're talking about two teams because you got to get
and you get a week, and you get a week.
You get a week, and I don't know how quickly. I don't think we know the exact injury right now. It'll be interesting to see what Justin reports if he even gets anything. Because my guess is they're going to try to keep this under wraps. The last thing they want is an injury report out there as it pertains to, something that somebody could bang Jani with or whatever. They're going to want to protect him. But you get a week and you get a Florida team where you're not going to be favored, right? And you've still got that sour taste in your mouth from where they came into your place and beat you. So, and I think Auburn's playing better basketball right now. I do. Florida has not played well. The UConn game, they were on the ropes big time. Now, look, their point guard made some phenomenal plays. He made some phenomenal plays the other night against Texas Tech. I mean, Tech had them by 10, I think, with 2 minutes left to go and gave that one away pretty much. Or not pretty much, they did give it away. So I'll be interested to see what Auburn team shows up in this game. Do they play with that chip on their shoulder? And then if you get into the national championship game, you just go for broke at that point. You're either going to be playing a real physical, rugged Houston team that you've already played, or you're going to be playing probably the best player in college basketball in Cooper Flagg and a, just really, really talented group of freshmen on that Duke squad. I mean, they are watching what they did to Mark Sears, how they utilized their length was really, really something the other night. Now, Auburn's a different matchup. Auburn can match up from a length standpoint with Duke, so it won't be the same kind of game. It'll be interesting to see who can handle the pressure on the biggest stage. I mean, Final Four, it's not just how talented you are, it's how do you handle that compartmentalized pressure and playing on a neutral court on the biggest stage that a lot of these kids have ever seen. I mean, that opening Saturday is one of the most exciting game atmospheres that you will ever see. And there's just so many people that are supercharged to be there. So it'll be interesting, man. I mean, there's a lot of different storylines and a lot of moving pieces here. But for tonight, Auburn fans, celebrate.
And speaking of Auburn fans, man, big how about you to those folks who traveled to Atlanta and lit that arena up.
Yeah. You could hear it on the TV. I mean, you could hear it. It sounded like Neville East for sure.
I saw Auburn Superfan this morning at Byron's. We were all eating breakfast. Superfan came in there. He was getting one for the road, big dog. He was headed to Atlanta. I see you, big dog. He gave me a big how about you. I knew it was going to be a good day. Hell yeah. I knew it was going to be a good day when Superfan gives you how about you.
When Broom came back into the game, man, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
it lit up, and then he hits the three. Wow. That was a moment.
I was like, start casting because there's a movie being made right here.
No doubt. And he stepped into that one, didn't even think about it. And let's be honest here. Before today, Jani was about, 0 for 8 from 3 pretty much. I mean, he had not shot it well from behind the arc and then goes 2 for 2 today. Yeah. So, there's something to be said for playing in the moment and playing up to expectation and putting that team on your back at a time where you had to do it. I mean, you're the man, you're the best player on the court for your team, and you don't shy away from the moment. And that's something that nobody will ever be able to take from him. He will easily be the South Region MVP, I would think, after that performance. And then we'll let it all hang out in the Final Four, man. It's just going to be interesting to watch and how effective can he be, because he did favor the arm. He wasn't playing.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely sore.
It was a dead arm a lot of the time.
Yeah, he was playing one-handed out there. So can he get back? Yeah, can he get back to close to 100%? Now, the good thing is it is his all-fan, right?
Yeah.
But he's going to be sensitive. So can he bang down low like he typically does? And that's what you don't know.
Cole, go ahead, big dog. I like Cole's in-game analysis, man. I like reading your little quips on the corner, the message board.
All I say is I just put their name in caps. That's about all I do. But no, I think when Broom came back in the game, it was more of a, hey, like I got to go see how I feel. You know what I mean? he looked like he's still favoring it. He's going to feel it tomorrow, 100%, and then kind of assess it from there. He had some adrenaline. I mean, you heard him after the game. It was like, I'm going back in. So I'm very interested to see where he's at because that's going to be very important. It is such a big deal. He played great. He went to the basket, got to the rim, so much better. Kind of cut that fadeaway out a little bit. He was more aggressive going towards the basket, and it really paid off, I thought.
I have a question, a personal question of the week. Not that we need it, but if you want to, I thought about this today. It's basketball. What are some terms that you use to describe a shot that hits only the net?
Ooh.
Because back in the day, it was strip.
Sure.
I stripped it. Swish. Nothing but net. And then I got into college and I started using panties.
Butter.
Butter. Okay.
Yeah.
So the one we used was similar to what you said, Jeffrey. I'll put it that way. It was similar.
Okay. Maxi pads.
Kobe.
Is it
Kobe?
Kobe for sure. Kobe for sure. Is the
I'm
old
thinking of
school
Dave
way?
Chappelle when he says,
Yes, dude. That's exactly what I think about. Kobe.
I know the old school folks. String music, baby.
string music. Fantastic. Great stuff.
Music
Yes.
is a good one for sure.
There it is. They're saying it in the comments.
Oh, are they?
When you hit one, wet.
Wet?
Yes.
That's definitely the thing.
Right? Is that our generation, Zach?
Yeah.
I have never heard that.
I've heard it, dude.
What if we hit one back to back? Go. Wet, baby.
Yeah.
Y'all don't be gross. Come on now. Behave yourself.
Look, I was helping out. Never mind. I'm not even going to tell the story.
Hey, let's get to the phone line. 701-779-9585. Call and let us know what's on your mind tonight.
We know where we're starting. Hopefully you can save where we were going. Kevin from Wilmer, Alabama, you're live.
Kevin from Wilmer, Alabama.
Talk to me, big
thunder.
dog.
We know where we're starting.
Kevin, are you with us, big dog? Did we lose him?
He just came
How
into that.
about
Oh, there
Jani
it is.
Broom?
How about him?
How
What do you think
the
about that
Auburn
game,
Tigers?
Kevin?
Woo, we're going Final Four.
Hey, Kevin, y'all should have seen Kevin's game day attire. I don't know if Zach can pull that on him. But Kevin was dressed and ready to go today, folks. He had the freaking headband on. He had his Auburn basketball jersey on. I don't know if he'd been eating some ribs or something, but he was ready to go, son.
Yeah, I'm
It's like
ready to go.
He
like
was
jersey.
channeling his inner Charles Barkley in that picture. Was
Was it Charles Barkley?
I think so. It looks like 34 on there.
Kevin, is your game day jersey 34?
Hey, Alan here.
Hey, Kevin.
Can we match up with Florida good?
I think you can. I think you can play with Florida. Now, they're probably still the most balanced team left in the tournament, Kevin. Let's not pretend that they're not. They've got a lot of talent in a lot of different areas, but sometimes it's where you are and how you're utilizing those pieces and are they playing well together. And right now, for the first time probably in about a 15-game stretch, Florida's scuffling a little bit. They haven't played their best ball, and it's always different when you're playing on this stage. They've got some guys that have never been this far before. You've got a very young head coach in Todd Golden. I have a lot of respect for Todd. I think he's a fantastic coach. But this is his first time to the Final Four. And sometimes when you get into these moments, it's a little bit different. If you haven't been there before, it's different. And so it's going to be interesting. And I do like the fact when Bruce gets to play the underdog, when he gets to be in that underdog role, he finds a way to get his team up and motivated. And I don't think you're going to have it. You're not – I think Auburn kind of underestimated Florida some in that first game. I'm going to be honest with you. I think they thought Florida's coming into our place. We're going to roll them. They're a good team. Don't get me wrong, but we're going to take it to them. You're not going to have that illusion this time. You're going to know who Florida is, what they are, and Bruce will have their full attention. And this is for everything, right? This is for a shot at the championship. So, yes, I think Auburn's got a shot. Would I predict a win at this point? I don't know, man. But I think they've absolutely got a shot.
I think they can beat Florida.
I think you're right in thinking that, Kevin, for sure. I think they absolutely can. Will they? I don't know. You muted, big dog.
Our 3-pointers, if we keep 3-pointers, make them, everybody better watch out.
No doubt.
I was saying earlier this year when Auburn and Florida beat Auburn, they kind of pulled away in the second half, if I remember correctly. Won by 9. I mean, it really wasn't that close there at the end. Was it about midway through the second half, Florida started pulling away?
Yeah, and I think at one point Florida got up by 18 to 20 points.
Wanda said, hey.
What's that, big dog?
Wanda says, hey.
Oh, hey, Wanda.
Wanda said, hey.
Tell her I said that about you.
And
well, good stuff.
The spring practice going on?
Spring practice. Auburn will officially start. Now, they practiced 3 times this past week. I think, Cole, did you have a viewing window earlier in the week?
Yeah, we got one last Tuesday.
Listen, I don't want to build up hype. I hate true freshman hype, especially coming out of spring. But it would I would not be doing y'all proper service, if when we talk to recruits, they get to see these practices from beginning to end. And my goodness, the Deuce Night buzz is through the roof.
Yeah, it really is.
It's not just coming from recruits either. It's I don't know if he'll play this year. I don't know if he'll start this year. I don't know. But I know that there has been high praise for what Deuce Knight has done in his short time here in Auburn. And I will say, I'll give you a couple of names that I've heard, and Cole's probably heard some too. Damari Austin had a good scrimmage or whatever practice Saturday. Some other names, the receivers, Horatio Fields.
Yeah, I keep hearing about them.
Mm-hmm. Eric Singleton, Cam Coleman made another one-headed catch.
Sam
Turner. Lots of good things, man. I think this team is going to be the most competitive, which is not a big hot take either, but I'm getting more and more excited about this football team, Kevin.
And my mom's doing good every day too.
Is she 100 yet?
No, not yet.
Getting there though. Getting there.
It's all about the climb, according to Miley Cyrus. Speaking of Miley Cyrus, Kevin, appreciate you calling in, big dog.
Basketball player is Denver Jones and Chad Baker.
Those are good ones.
Absolutely.
Final Four bound. Kevin, thanks for calling in, big dog. War Eagle, buddy.
5799. You're live. Who are you talking to? Where are you calling from?
Ricky from Birmingham.
Oh, Ricky.
What's on your mind tonight, Ricky?
War Eagle.
War Eagle, buddy.
My question tonight is it's kind of debatable, but I don't know if it's too early to ask. But do y'all guys think Bruce Pearl surpassed Gene Bartow, like the greatest coach in state of Alabama in basketball?
Ooh.
Yes, I do. And I'm a big Gene Bartow. I grew up going to Gene Bartow camps.
That would make
Gene Bartow was the king of Sweet 16. I don't think he took UAB to Final Four.
I don't think so either. In fact, Auburn was the first team in the state to go to the Final Four. So, just.
But I remember back in the Andy Kennedy days. I mean,
Andy Kennedy? He's there. No. He's there right now.
No. When he was playing.
Gotcha. That's true. No, I'm with you. I think they made the Sweet 16 a couple times.
That's how old I am.
But they never progressed past that point. I don't know where Bruce will end up on the hierarchy of coaches in the state. Obviously, Nate Oates has done a fantastic job at Alabama, and they definitely could make another one. But what Bruce has accomplished at Auburn is special. And I think if he wins a national championship, and I know some fans are going to lose their mind when I say this, I think you're going to be able to argue him as the greatest coach, period, in Auburn athletics history if he wins a national championship.
I would not argue that.
I wouldn't argue that, Alan, at all.
I mean, look, I think Pat Dye's special with what he accomplished at Auburn, and nobody can ever take Pat's legacy away from him. And there will be people that are football fans that are listening to me say this right now, like, in no world is a basketball coach ever. But I think what Bruce has meant to the community, the way he's elevated that program, the consistency with which his teams have played, and then the peaks, that they've reached. This is unimaginable for me. For somebody who, my freshman year was in the Cliff Ellis era, and the best Cliff ever got was to the Sweet 16. Did that twice. Credit to Cliff, right?
And that was like, oh my God.
Yeah, like we've reached the mountaintop at this point. But then to go beyond that, to go to a Final Four and to consistently make the tournament, because Cliff had dips, right? Like he would play, he would have a good season and then would be a not so good season. So there was never that consistency there, not the way it has been with Bruce. And then obviously the Jeff Lebo, Tony Barber era, just not a lot. And then, before that, what do you got? Tommy Joe Eagles.
Oh, TJ, yeah.
Sonny had it going for a while. You know what I mean? Sonny made
early 80s, mid 80s.
Two Sweet 16s, an Elite Eight, and I think made the tournament 5 times. So he had a really great stretch there before he left, but just not the consistency in my lifetime as an Auburn basketball fan that Bruce has brought to the table, and certainly not the heights with which he's reached to this point.
Who was AD? Did Jay hire him? Bruce?
Yeah. That was after – it was either – I can't remember if the transition had happened just yet from Mike Slive to Greg Sankey. That period is kind of fuzzy for me, but I can remember that the SEC was trying to get serious about basketball, and they had a big meeting about essentially 3 teams from the SEC had made it the tournament. And Auburn was one of the ones that was singled out kind of in that meeting amongst ADs where, hey, guys, you got to do something different. And Jay decided, I'm going to go hire the best basketball coach I can get. And he took a chance. Bruce was still on his show calls when Jay hired him. Now, he only had 6 months left, so it made it a little bit more doable. But recruiting was significantly different. Like Will Wade being on his show calls right now and coaching, he doesn't care because the kids really are more concentrated on what the NIL payment is than you making your off-campus visit. What's the contract? At that point, it's when Bruce came back, it was very different. And I know they had to kind of manage things and work around some of his limitations. But credit to Jay. You get you're satisfied.
Yeah,
I can't do it the way Jay Tate can. Yeah. I wish I could do that impression.
You may not be good, but are you satisfied? Is that what
yes.
I love Jay Jacobs.
Oh,
by the way, guys, y'all know what day the Final Four is on?
No.
April Fool's Day.
April 5th.
Oh, also, Big Cat.
Big Cat.
I bet you they got a watch party going on during that.
If they don't, they're doing it wrong.
Well, it better not be at night because I'm not waiting around.
5 o'clock. I just looked it up.
Yeah, tip-off's at like 5 o'clock.
And what are the games? Who's first?
It doesn't say yet.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Who is?
Auburn
Who's the
first?
Auburn and Florida first, and then Houston and Duke.
Yep.
Man,
and the Natty will tip off on Monday at like 9 p.m.
So 24 hours later. 48 hours later.
Yeah, on Monday.
Dude,
okay, great.
This is the first time. I know they've had, 2008, 2009, when they had all 4 number ones. But you walk into this one, and it's not like typically, you had somebody that slip in there that shouldn't be there, right? And they get their eyes beat out the first night of the Final Four. And maybe somebody's going to get beat by double digits, but I think you're going to have some literal knockdown dragouts in these Final Four games, man. Like this is impressive, and it's what high-level basketball should look like.
Did we lose Ricky?
Are out. Oh, he's off the line now.
Okay. He got us going.
Early spreads, real quick for you to the next caller.
Florida minus 3.5.
Florida is a 2.5 point favorite.
I said 3.5.
Duke is a 4.5 point favorite over Houston.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked on I would have thought Duke would have been a 6 point favorite early. That's interesting.
So 1 possession game, but between Auburn and Florida.
Yeah,
and 2 possession game with you. I thought Duke might be better than that, according to Vegas.
I thought so too, but maybe they're factoring in, again, Kelvin Sampson, fantastic basketball coach. Houston's going to be physical in a way that Duke hasn't seen. I mean, they play a brand of basketball that's intense, and they're not as talented, not even close. But it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
I wonder if this is the first time Auburn's been the dog since going to Cameron Indoor.
No.
Or were they favored?
No, they weren't. I don't think they were favored. I thought it was a 1 point.
I thought it was one Duke -1, something like that.
Were they favored going into Alabama? I don't think so.
You think going into Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, I don't think they were favored in that game.
Okay.
But that's probably the last one.
Well, if I'm Auburn and I lost by 9 at Florida at Neville Arena, and I'm going to the Final Four to face Florida, and I'm only a 2.5-point dog, I'm feeling pretty good about that.
I mean, I think everybody recognized Auburn played probably one of its worst games that night, and they were cold. Looked like they just kind of got out of it early and didn't have that mental fortitude to push through it. I don't think that's going to be an issue in this game. I think they recognize Auburn's playing in a different gear. Now, whether they shoot it at a good level or not, I don't know. I mean,
take Michael Clayton out of the game. And
yep. I mean, I think they're going to put Denver Jones on him and basically say, go get it. And we'll see. We'll let the chips fall where they may. But Florida's got their own injuries. You talked about it, Zach, earlier in the pre-show. I don't know if their four-man's going to be able to go either, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, his injury looked a lot worse than even Jani's did.
And for those that don't know, Alex Condon.
So does that mean they're down to 2 7-footers now?
Yeah, because they've still got Howe. They've got
God, there's 7-footers all over the place in this tournament.
Hanglotten, who Auburn recruited there for a little bit. Now, he hasn't played nearly as – do what?
Chinyelu, is that the other guy?
Chinyelu is the other one. He's their other post player down low. So they've still got 3 guys that can all bang in the post.
They're pretty strong, man. Florida's strong. They can win the rebounding game, but they can also pop threes on you. I mean, like crazy. They're pretty complete. That's the thing about them.
They are. They're balanced. They are easily the most balanced team as far as combination of bigs and talented guards and talented defensive players as well. They've got good athleticism. But again, I do think if Condon's not in the lineup for them, that changes things significantly. He's their most athletic. Well, him and Howe are the most athletic bigs they have, in my opinion. Hanglotten just hasn't looked right to me. Not the same level of athleticism he had before he broke his leg in the SEC championship game this time last year.
Alan, real quick before just a question to you and Zach and all y'all. What do you think is Auburn's most glaring issue going against the Dukes and the Floridas and the Houstons of the world? Do they have a big glaring issue that doesn't match up well with these teams?
I think it's got to be consistency on the perimeter. At times, Auburn, like you saw that 10-minute spurt against Michigan where they got as hot as anybody in the country, but consistently, like they haven't shot it at the clip that I would think they need to win those kind of games. Now, that doesn't mean that Miles Kelly can't get hot. I mean, it's about every 6 games, bad boy Miles Kelly goes off, you know what I mean, and shoots for 20-plus points. And if he has one of those kind of games, Auburn can absolutely win it. But I think it's consistency from their guard play. It ebbs and flows. And for Auburn to win those kind of games, they have to dominate the flow of the game. They have to be able to control it. They can match up with anybody they got left in the post. I firmly believe that. But it's the guard play that's going to have to be in an elite level for Auburn to be able to win those games.
Good stuff, Ricky. Appreciate you calling in, big dog.
0553. You're live. Who are we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Gentlemen, it's Cole from Noonan. How y'all doing?
Hey, about you, Cole.
What's up? I meant to call God, but then I got stuck talking to you guys. So
oh yeah. Now you got to work yourself up the ladder, big dog.
There you go. I don't have. Man, I'm fired up. I've not had a chance to listen to the show at all. I'm sure y'all have done a great job. So I don't mean to repeat anything, but man, what an excellent display all the way around by Auburn basketball. And so I just wanted to call in and say a few things real quick, and I'll hop off. But because unlike Cole Pinkston, I love Auburn basketball, pie.
So twist the knife, Cole. Twist the knife. Come on now.
I'm just kidding, Cole. But hey, look, I just want to say I've got 4 kids under the age of 10, and it's hard to explain to each of them who have seen Auburn basketball be successful over the course of their lifetime how bad Auburn basketball has been.
Sure.
And it's fun watching the success of this team, which really embodies kind of everything that you want in Auburn University. These guys have grit. They weren't the most highly sought after. They have risen and taken their game to the next level over the course of their careers. You have a coach who's passionate, who loves Auburn University. You've got a team that is built on faith and connectivity. These guys work hard. They play hard. They're a blue-collar team. They're exciting, all the above. And it's fun and it's special. And so as we have kind of watched this season unfold and we've gotten used to Auburn basketball be good, it's important that we not lose sight of how special this team is. And, it's been cool sharing this with my kids. And I hope that, the Pearl dynasty will continue at Auburn. But over the course of my lifetime, there's been a lot of bad basketball played by Auburn Tigers. And it's really cool to see. And so I just wanted to call in after a historic game and say a few words along that front. And then I just wanted to close with a quick question for you guys. Who is the dude that has to step up and have a big game against Florida for us to win and head to the championship? Okay. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you, Cole. The dude who's going to have to step it up, Alan Head.
It's either going to have to be Tahad or Denver. You're going to have one of your 2 lead guards step forward and go for major points and be able to get into the lane consistently against their guards to get them in foul trouble. I think that's where Auburn they've done a better job. At times during the SEC season, they fell in love with their jump shot some, and they didn't attack the rim the way they needed to. Particularly the last 3 games, Auburn has done a significantly better job at getting to the rim, going there tough. They haven't always gotten calls, but they haven't been looking for calls either. They've been looking to play through contact, and that's what they're going to have to do. But either Tahad or Denver or both are going to have to play their best brand of basketball to be able to beat this team. That's what's got to happen. I feel certain Jani's going to show up, and he's going to play well, but to loosen, because they're going to drop a little bit and force Auburn's guards to beat them with their length. So if they're not hitting shots, it's going to make it increasingly difficult for Jani to kind of get loose down low and be able to play his best game.
I'm thinking defense. That's why I'm going Denver against Michael Clayton. Got to shut him. Got to contain him somewhat. Cole, who you got, big dog?
I feel like at this point, Denver Jones and Tahad Pettiford, they're pretty solid. I mean, they're going to have their plays and their points. Chad Baker-Mazara, I think, is due for a big game, man.
Where's he been?
He hasn't been bad. He's been just a little quiet on the offensive end, but I think he's due because when he pops off,
he's an X factor for them. Yeah,
mm-hmm. He is. And when you get everybody else rolling, and like I said, you kind of know what to expect from Broom at this point. You know what to expect from Denver Jones. They're pretty solid. You get another guy to step up with them on that same level offensively. It's hard to beat Auburn, man. Really hard.
It is. And you talking about 2 teams that know each other and 2 coaching staffs that know each other. Now, I know that Golden and the Pearls are all friends, but my guess is they won't be swapping phone calls this week if I had to guess. Yeah. Those guys are competitors. Both want this one. Let me ask you guys a question real quick. Who do you think this championship means most to right now? Of the 4 head coaches that are left, is it Pearl? Is it Sampson? Is it John Shire and Todd Golden, who are playing for their first national championship? Who do you think this means the most to their legacy?
Does Sampson have one at Houston?
No.
Then it's going to be him or Pearl.
I agree. I think if either one of those 2 get a national championship, they're probably walking into the Hall of Fame with everything else that they've accomplished at this point.
It's so hard to get those. And they've been doing it for so long.
I know.
And they've been good for so long. And they've been close for so long.
This will be Sampson's 3rd Final Four? He's been twice with Houston already.
Was he there when Akeem was there?
No. He started off. I think I remember him at Oklahoma, and then he went to Indiana for that short stint. And then obviously he had
I forgot about him in Oklahoma.
Had a pretty difficult exit at Indiana where they had some NCAA infractions, some things happened there. And then his rebound job was Houston.
Yeah. He's made the Sweet 16 or better for like 8 straight years at Houston.
Akeem Olajuwon played for the Rockets, man.
Yeah, well, he also played for the Houston Cougars.
But Sampson wasn't his dude. I thought Sampson had been at Houston for a long time.
Oh no. Yeah,
but I remember him from being.
He made the Final Four with Oklahoma in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I can't even remember who was on that team. But yeah, Jeffrey, the Phi Slamma Jamma was that was like 1983, my man.
Yeah, I told you, dude. Andy Kennedy was a senior at UAB. That's how I know him. 91. All right, Cole. Good stuff. Keep us going, Zach.
0978. You're live. Who are we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey guys, it's Kim from El Dorado Hills. How are you?
Kip? Is that what he said?
Tim from El Dorado Hills, California.
Tim from Cali.
Tim.
What's going on tonight, Tim?
How you guys doing tonight?
Fantastic, buddy.
So, tell the truth. Who were you rooting for, Duke or Alabama?
Who was I rooting for?
Yeah.
Duke. No question.
I was rooting for Duke just because, well, A, I had him picked in my bracket, and 2, just, make sure Emos remembers that I called Duke over Alabama in that game when he tried to call in and, flash his prop bet success that he's had to this point.
Yeah, Duke for the bracket. That's why, for me. For sure.
Who were you pulling for, Tim?
I can't picture a scenario where I would ever root for Alabama, but this was one.
You were pulling for Bama?
The all SEC Final Four.
Oh, man. I don't get into that SEC stuff.
I understand. I get it, but yeah.
No, I did that to the Sweet 16 because I thought the number of teams that made the Sweet 16 said something about the legitimacy of what Auburn accomplished this year. Like, I wanted to see that many teams progress to that point. But beyond that, it's every fan base for themselves, my man. I'm going to be honest with you on that.
I'm one of those guys where I don't think it benefits Auburn ever when Alabama wins anything.
Fair enough.
You're not wrong. Just so proud of the boys. Like Cole said earlier, we lived through so much bad basketball. My wife and I had our first date at Auburn basketball against LSU and Shaquille O'Neal. So we've been fans for a long, long time. To watch them play the way they're playing. And you know what's funny, guys, is like, even if you watch them tonight, they've got so much left. They've got so much higher of a ceiling that they could reach. I mean, if Miles and Chad do anything for us tonight, we beat these guys by 30.
Miles was he might be my favorite. I love Miles Kelly.
Great kid, right?
I do too.
He can shoot the lights out.
He's got to bring us better than 3 of 10. He's a better player.
Absolutely.
And Chad, I mean, he didn't do anything knucklehead. He wasn't good Chad tonight.
Yeah, I thought Cole made a good point on him.
10?
He was 2 of 10.
But
yeah, I mean, and he had some bad decisions that he made tonight. It's not like he didn't do anything egregious. It's like he's kept his emotions in check in this tournament run. He's done a fantastic job of not letting that boil over. But shot selection, decision making hasn't been great from Chad. And if that improves, and you're right, if he shoots 40% from the floor, 50% from the floor, Auburn's a different team when you get that level of perimeter scoring from somebody else.
So that's why I'm excited for the Final Four, is that these guys actually have more that they can do. They can put better on the floor than they did the last two games. And it's incredible to see. It's so much fun to watch. Football question for you guys. I was kind of blown away by just checking out the visits that are coming up. I think from this past Saturday through the end of June, we've got over 100 visits scheduled. Just an insane number of high quality people coming in to visit Auburn. But what even surprises me more is how often that I'm looking at stories of people who aren't on that list. So do guys just show up, or how does it work that we get more people on campus than we have anticipated for visits?
A lot of those visits aren't publicly disclosed. A lot of it, like take Saturday, I think there were 5 or 6 guys who hadn't said, "Hey, I'm visiting Auburn." It wasn't known, and they just showed up. And it's you're talking about spring breaks right now. The kids don't really have a set schedule. Some of them don't. It's, "Hey, can you come over tomorrow? Can you come down?"
Yeah.
So a lot of it is kind of last minute and just don't know about it. I think we knew about it Saturday morning was about the earliest, right before Jay Lamar was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Big one.
We knew a few of them. Marquez Daniels was coming. He came. There's another big one. Who else was? Oh, well, we knew Preston Ashley. We knew Travis Burgess. And then I thought, Tim, I thought 2 of the bigger ones were the linemen. Deron Parks.
Yeah.
Mausa Sek was also there. So, and then, of course, next, who else? Who's coming back next week? Oh, freaking Dooley Pritchett, Parker Pritchett.
Yep.
Right down from Columbus. He'll be back next week. And I thought Saturday was fantastic. There were 10 guys, 10 tier 1, top tier 2 guys visiting, and they got a lot of attention. They got to see practice firsthand, got a lot of attention from the coaches, got to sit in on meetings. It was kind of maybe a 6-hour visit, which is almost perfect. So I thought it was a very, very productive, almost kind of the start of this visitation period that it's going to be so heavy, like you said, through the month of June.
Yeah, I know the schedule is so much different than it has been in past years, but the people coming, that slate is full. It looks amazing. One last question, I'll let you guys run. Travis Burgess, why is he not more highly rated given his size, his physicality, his pedigree from where he plays? What is it that we're missing? Or is the industry missing for not rating him higher?
No, he came from a small school. Last year was kind of his first year on the big stage. He played for Grayson, and he was good. I mean, they won a state championship, but it wasn't like he was, the X factor on that team. That team was stacked. They went into Alabaster and beat Thompson the first week of the season last year. So he just kind of has come onto the scene. He's raw, but man, he's pretty. He's every bit of 6'4". He's 6'5" with cleats on. He's very smart. He's very well composed. He's a great kid, and he's a fantastic quarterback. I think Auburn and Auburn, the colleges are basically taking a slow approach to him as well. As it stands right now, it's Auburn, I think Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Duke. So those are like his top 4 schools. So that should tell you that he's not getting a lot of push from Georgia, not even Georgia Tech or Alabama or Tennessee or South Carolina or Clemson or anybody like that right now. Auburn's they're keeping a close eye on him. They want to get him back. I wrote about this on the Corner today. I don't think Auburn is in a hurry to get him in this class, because if they were, they could get him. I think Auburn is absolutely the team to beat for him. If they wanted him in this class right now, they could. I think they're going to take their time. I don't think they're in a big rush. The quarterback position in the 2026 class is not who they're selling to these wide receivers. They're selling Deuce Knight to these wide receivers in this class. So it's not imperative that Auburn gets that quarterback in this class early. Like if he's a top dude, you want to get him in, help him recruit. But they want to see him in spring. They want to see him back in the summer, and then maybe making a decision on which I wrote today. I think right now he ends up in this class, but I think they're going to do their due diligence with him and some others before they make that decision.
Tim, I think the one thing holding him back might be, well, a couple of schools, they kind of want to see how he feels out because he's kind of a beanpole right now. He's pretty skinny.
Yeah.
6'5", 195, but frame is there. And they know, look, you give him some time. He's going to fill out. He's going to improve his arm strength, all that stuff. And, these quarterbacks that are ranked high these days, the style is important, I think, because the dual threat is such a big deal now, more than it ever has been. And you see a lot of dual threat guys being high up there. The pro style, and I think he's more of a pro style, and that could be part of it. He can run, but he's more of a pro style.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some sneaky athleticism for sure. I think when you look at him on tape, I would put him in the same kind of bucket of athlete as like a Peyton Thorne, maybe a tick up from that. But a guy that's capable of getting, yards on the ground for sure and being able to keep it on your zone read and or QB runs, or whatever you want to feature him in. But he's not a guy, like you said, he's not Cam Newton. He's not Deuce Knight, where you're going to feature him as a runner. And you're right. I mean, I think Jeffrey talked about it. There's some other quarterbacks who are going to let it play out with. Keyshawn Henderson, they're going to try to see if they can get him to visit. Yeah. Obviously, Landon Duckworth is a name that we've talked about here on this show. I think there's some interest from Auburn's end. How much? I don't know. I mean, I think at this point, Ole Miss is probably the team that's trending with him most. But we'll see. Does Auburn get Landon back on campus and what happens there? And then a name that I've mentioned on the board, Jaden O'Neal. I think he's somebody that's going to visit, somebody you should pay attention to. There's an interesting dynamic there at Oklahoma where they're recruiting another quarterback very hard. And I think it could cause some things to change within Jaden's recruitment right now and his present commitment to Oklahoma. So those are the probably three, the other three that I'm paying attention to most, in addition to Travis Burgess. Though I would still, if I were handicapping it, if I'm Vegas, I probably have the largest percentage still on Travis Burgess being the one that ends up in this class.
Another guy to keep an eye on, Jaden O'Neal, absolutely. Javon Gilmore.
Oh,
Javon Gilmore. He is from South Carolina. He's committed to Rhett Lashley's Fighting Mustangs and SMU. But he's another. See, these guys that we're talking about right now, and even to a certain extent, Rider Lions. I mean, there's those top tier 1 guys that Auburn's obviously trying to get on campus and trying to stay relevant in the recruitment. But those guys you just talked about, Alan, Auburn wants to see them. They want to make sure that Travis Burgess is the guy. They want to see him in the spring. They want to see these others in the spring. They want to get these guys on campus. They want to see and then make a decision on who they think is the best fit for this class. So
he's committed to Arkansas. I think you said South Carolina. He's from South Carolina, though.
I'm sorry. Yes. No, my eyesight's terrible. Oh my gosh, that's a Razorback. I thought it was a Mustang.
Mustang.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
My man went from the Pony Express to Pig Suey. I hear you.
Wow. I don't have my glasses on. That's really humbling.
Oh,
the freaking Razorback.
No need for an introduction here. 5960, you're live.
What's going on, fellas?
Edward, what's up with you?
What's going on? Oh man, I've been MIA for a little while, man. Been working hard and cold, trying to get that restaurant up and going, man. Everything go right. Tomorrow, I should be open by Friday.
Where's it going to be, Edward? Selma?
Hoggerville.
I'm back in Hoggerville, man. Whole new location. God, something back there. So, I'm going in full force. I had to, step away from some things just to get my focus where it needs to be and handle my business like I need to handle it. And that's what I've been doing.
Good for you, Edward.
Last Sunday, but I was a little late calling. Y'all had closed the line on, but I plan on bringing the best soul food to Central Alabama, man. Shout out to the Auburn basketball team, man.
Woo.
Shout out to Bruce Purr. I ain't gonna sit here and say I'm the biggest Auburn basketball fan, because I ain't. I ain't gonna even pretend like I am. But I think what they have been able to do so far, I think, it's been a blessing in disguise. And I think that they got a chance to win it all. I love Auburn basketball, but I have to be honest. Coming up, I was born of Kentucky, North Carolina, because Auburn basketball just wasn't good during my time. But, so I never did really get close to Auburn basketball. But I think it's a blessing in disguise for Auburn football, because right now all the attention has been on Auburn basketball. And it's allowing this football team to just ease through spring and just get better. Ain't a whole lot of eyes on them. Ain't nobody really talking about them. I think this really going to be a blessing for them. And I heard you guys last week, and when y'all was saying the floor, the more and more I look at this team, the more and more I think about what's been invested into this team. Anything under 8-win regular season to me is a failure. You look at this team pound for pound, it's hard to find another Auburn team that's anywhere in the ballpark of what this team at talented-wise. And I think you got to go 8-4 and win your bowl game to give you a 9-4 record. 7 wins, you should have got 7 wins last year. So you to me, you bypassed your 7-win season, because that was on the table last year. I honestly think that 9 wins is doable. And this is why I'm saying that. The schedule, if I'm not mistaken, the schedule going to look a lot different next year. So you really got the easiest draw of SEC team. You got Vanderbilt, even though they beat you, Kentucky, Arkansas, Missouri. I mean, you swap those team out with a Texas, LSU, or Tennessee, you always going to have Alabama and Georgia. So I'm looking at it, Coleman Holland year 3 for the last 3 years. Year 3 might be a chance to try to make some noise, because things can look a whole lot different schedule-wise next year. You might be out in Texas. You might be at Rocky Top. Ain't no telling how your next season schedule going to look on top of Alabama and Georgia, which those are your permanent teams. So I was just thinking about that part. Like, you look at the schedule this year, it's set up for you to win that many games. But ain't no telling who you may have to face next year. I want to hear what y'all got to think about that, man.
No, Alan, you and I talked about it when we did the recruiting/football show the other day. This roster is absolutely worthy of 8 wins.
Sure.
100%. Worthy of 8 wins is different than being able to win 8 games, but worthy of it might be worthy of 9 or 10. I'm kind of with Edward. I'm looking around at this spring team, which is not a complete picture of Auburn's football team yet.
No.
And going, hey, you can win with this. You really could. So I feel I'm kind of in the boat with Edward there. I feel like this. I said it to you when we were talking about the ceiling and the floor of the recruiting class. I feel like the season's going to be better, and that's going to help that as well. So that's kind of where I'm at.
I don't think Edward has an unreasonable expectation for sure. In year 3 to win 8 games. I mean, I think that's a pretty reasonable and measured expectation. Is that the floor for this team? No, because I think there are things that can go wrong. I mean, I think Jackson Arnold could not play up to expectation, and then you've got a true freshman as your signal caller in there, or Ashton Daniels, who wasn't here for spring, and now he's catching up on the fly, trying to process things in real time. So there are still some things that could happen to this team. I think 6 is probably the floor. I honestly believe 6 is the floor. I don't think this team's less than that. But the ceiling could be 8. I mean, it could be 9 wins for sure. I struggle going beyond 9 because I don't like the Texas A&M matchup. I don't like, especially in College Station, I don't like the Alabama game and I don't like the Georgia game as of now. But this is what we know, right? I don't know enough about the other teams. I hate it when people, and this is no knock at Edward, when people say, well, this team isn't any good and this team isn't any good. Hell, man, the rosters aren't even finished yet, and the transfer portal changes everything. So you don't know who's good and who's bad right now, if I'm being completely honest with you. So when you're picking against other teams, you're picking brands. And Auburn traditionally has been a better brand than Kentucky or Vanderbilt. But Vanderbilt, flat out came into Auburn and won that game. Okay? Kentucky's going to have to improve a lot. But Arkansas came into Auburn, won the game. So I don't want to just bank on it just yet. I'm probably going to stay at 7-5 right now is my expectation. And I think until you're better than 7-5, it's going to be hard for me to pick against that. I think that Missouri game is going to be tougher than certain people think. They picked up a heck of a running back from ULM, a guy that we saw up close and personal in Ahmad Hardy. Really a talented kid. They picked up a transfer quarterback from Penn State, and Ben Prabula, I think is how you say his name. I'm not exactly sure.
Ben from Beulah?
Prabula? Is that how you say his name, Zach?
Who is it?
Sounded like a caller.
Yeah, I know, right? It used to be Bryce from Beulah, but I think it's Prabula is how you say his last name. But look, Eli's done a good job with layering that team with some depth, and they did a good job of augmenting some of their needs in the transfer portal. So you lose that game, that gets you down to 8-4 already. And then all it would take is Auburn not to play to expectation in one game, and you're right down at 7-5. So I don't know, man. I'm just a little bit more skeptical at this point with saying that the floor would be 8-4. But again, I understand fan expectation in year 3 of wanting Auburn to be relevant, of wanting Auburn to be better than where they have been. I don't fault fans for feeling that way or wanting that, because Auburn's just been, this last 5 years has been brutal to watch. It's just been mediocrity.
I think an updated over-under came out. It was 7.5 win total. It did come out, or the early one was like 5.5, wasn't it, or 6?
It was, but that was pre-portal, right? It was pre-portal, Auburn 5.5, and then Auburn went into the portal and made some major moves.
Speaking of the portal, and Saturday, Ashton Daniels was there. Ashton Daniels spent the last 2 weeks in Auburn.
He has, and he's been walking side by side with Ken Austin, Hugh Freeze, getting everything in that he can, which all he can do is watch right now. And you remember the last guy who took advantage of that, right? That would be Malcolm Simmons.
Malcolm Simmons.
So you love to see that from players, man. You love when they look. He probably has other things to do. He could be training, but no, he wants to get there. He wants to get the offense. He wants to have a shot at the quarterback job, and it's unfortunate he can't be there in the spring, but he's doing everything he can, even though he's not. I thought that was a big deal.
No, I agree. And I'm going to be honest with you. If it were me, he'd be sitting in Will Redmond's office, and I'd be asking, right, who plays it? Like, who can play on Stanford's team? Who do we need to make a phone call to?
I think there'll be some moves made when that spring portal opens. Certainly. Good stuff, Edward. Appreciate you calling in, big dog.
4099. You're live. Who are we talking to? Where are you calling from?
New Braunfels, Texas. And this is Brent.
Bray?
How about you, Brent?
Brent?
That's what I heard.
Yeah, I just wanted to say a few things. War Eagle, first of all, long-time listener.
Thank you.
And then secondly, my birthday is April 5th, so you know what we're going to be doing on Saturday? We're going to call God. And then I did want to say I think Bruce Pearl is the greatest coach in Auburn history without a natty.
Okay.
You look at the program he took over. That program was atrocious. There was very little investment from the administration at the time. And then we go into every year with high expectations for that team because of Bruce. And then the fact that he sells out Neville Arena time and time again. And in the past, that would have been impossible to even think about. So I do think Bruce is the greatest coach in Auburn history. Maybe not the greatest legacy as of yet.
Be hard to surpass you.
And then in terms of football, I did want to say a couple of things. When Hugh got hired, he said 2025 would be the year to expect to see
the first
results. And I do think the ceiling for this team is 10 wins. I think 7 or 8 is more realistic, but the ceiling is 10.
Okay.
6 is probably the floor, all dependent on Jackson.
Completely agree.
But I would say I think that the offense is going to run at a higher tempo this year. I truly believe that. And I think the headset communication will allow that to happen. And then if you look at Jackson's release, he's got such a quick release. He'll be able to get that ball out there on short RPOs and we'll hurry to the line and go. But anyways, I want to hear your thoughts on stuff like that. And War Eagle, thank you for listening.
Appreciate you, Brent. Don't be a stranger, buddy. Good call. I listen. I wouldn't argue Bruce Pearl, but let's don't just bypass Shug Jordan. I mean, the dude coached football to a national championship, and if I'm not mistaken, was he not the basketball coach?
No, that was Heisman, right? Was it Heisman that was the football and basketball coach at the same time?
Let me do a little research here.
I don't think Shug was.
I would just, let's see how this thing. I'm not saying even if the point that Bruce has gotten them to now is warranted of this talk, right?
Yeah, he coached basketball and football.
Did he? He was both?
He was a coach of football and basketball. Well, let me make sure that was at Auburn.
I was going to say, I didn't think that was at Auburn, but maybe I'm wrong. Like, I could be completely wrong.
He also led the men's basketball team for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And he did it at Georgia, too.
Wow.
During his time as coaching basketball, he also served as an assistant football coach at the two schools, Auburn and Georgia. Yeah,
looks like I need to do some reading on Shug
World War II hero, Auburn football coach, Auburn basketball coach, did the same at Georgia, played 3 sports at Auburn, had a stadium named after him.
Somebody in the comments jump all over me for that previous statement for sure, because I was wrong, big time wrong. Look at Jeffrey reading some Wikipedia right now.
Hell yeah, I am. 1933 to 1942, so what's that, 9 years? And then he did it again in 45 and 46, so 10 or 11 years he was a basketball coach, in addition to football coach for 25 years.
No,
National championship.
Listen, I'm not pumping the brakes. I'm lightly touching. Like, let's let everything play out here. I'm not even the point you've gotten to now for Bruce is warranted of being in this conversation.
Yeah,
sure.
Pat Dye's in there too, guys.
Sure.
You know what I mean. So, I don't really think about that as much. It's not something that's on my mind, like who the best coach is all the time. But he's in the conversation. He has firmly put himself in the conversation with Shug Jordan and Pat Dye.
Yeah.
Greatest basketball coach in the history of Auburn. No doubt about it.
Not even close. Yeah.
Sonny would be number 2.
I would think.
Or Shug Jordan. Hey,
how about that?
Yeah.
He had a winning record at Auburn. He was 136, 103.
Don't forget about Tony Barbie.
Oh, come on now. Yeah.
Time for the next caller.
Just kidding.
Tony Barbie and Sonny Galloway, 2 of my all-time favorite hires.
That was Jay too, wasn't it?
It was. Talking about, I'm not going to pay you a dime, brother.
Oh, Sonny. Coach got to eat too.
Yep.
That's what he told me after I stuck a deer in the shoulder. I don't feel bad, boy. Coach got to eat too. Little did I know he got that from Clint Eastwood. Poser.
There you go.
8021. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this L Train from Birmingham, man.
L Train.
Hey.
What's on your mind tonight?
I'm my for a week, man. I've been working overtime, man. So I ain't been called for like the last 5-6 shows.
We've been missing you, man.
But I want to give a shout out to the basketball team, man. I want to talk football though, but I want to give a shout out to the basketball team, man. Proud of Bruce Pearl, what he did, man. What he doing. And hopefully, man, I know basketball been down a long time. I've been a fan since '82, man. And we have been down a long time. The Bruce Pearl got there for real. And I'm just happy Auburn basketball back. Hopefully, Larry Vickers can get the women's basketball back.
Yeah,
like
I like that guy
with the men, because we need that for the women's too, man.
I like Larry Vickers.
We work on that baseball. We work on that baseball coach Nick, man. But yeah, shout out to the basketball team, man. And the last time I called, I had to give y'all a question, man. But let me ask y'all this before I talk about my question. I need to follow up my question when I called the last time. But I want to ask y'all this right quick. Did y'all think Cam Newton, before Cam Newton played a down at Auburn, before he even got to Auburn, when he still committed to Auburn,
Did y'all think Cam Newton would be in New York City?
No.
Be there for him. Not for, I mean, we know he wanted, but did y'all think he'll be there before he even played it down at Auburn?
No, and he was coming off a JUCO National Championship Player of the Year, 5-star guy, #1 JUCO, and no, I don't think anybody really saw that coming.
No, everybody thought he would be special, but nobody thought that he was going to be in New York winning the Heisman and put together one of the greatest seasons ever.
No more than I thought Brandon Cox was going to be there.
Ooh.
Coxie, baby.
That's my point. That's my point. And Cam Newton, I don't think Cam played with an NFL player on his team at Auburn that year he played. I don't think a player on that team made the NFL.
Nick Fairley.
That I can remember.
Darvin?
Offensive player.
Okay.
Who? Your offense.
I think Darvin spent a couple of years.
No, Darvin went to the NFL.
Only one
player. He made it crazy. I think he's on a practice squad in Carolina somewhere, but I don't think Darvin's playing in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that doesn't help. I'm not arguing with you. I'm trying to think if you're being accurate.
I think Emory Blake got some snaps in the NFL. He made a practice squad or two, but that's probably it. You know, Mike Dyer would have, but obviously he ran afoul of the law. And then
T-Zac didn't.
No.
What about Lutzer?
There was a backup tackle who was like on a practice squad.
Oh, you're talking about.
But y'all might be right, but I'm saying, do my question when I asked y'all last time I called. I asked y'all, do y'all think Jackson Arnold can end up in New York? Not when it happens to end up in New York, and all y'all said no. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying Jackson ain't played a down in Auburn right now, and Jackson got more talent on that offense, NFL type players on that offense.
That's a good point.
Cam Newton had at Auburn, and Jackson can have this Auburn offense might be the best offense Auburn had in the last 20 years.
On paper, at least.
Cadillac number. I think this offense is gonna be the best offense they had since Cadillac number was at Auburn. And I think Jackson Arnold got a chance to be in New York. I really believe that. And I just really believe that he's gonna do great at Auburn his first year there. And I believe he got a chance to end up in New York, and I think they can win about 10, 11 games. Because I believe anybody gonna believe till they beat Georgia. When they beat Georgia this year, everybody gonna start believing what I'm saying. That's what I want to adjust to y'all. Because Alabama ain't got no quarterback. Georgia ain't got no quarterback. And Auburn they play Alabama and Georgia at home in Jordan Hare. And I believe Auburn gonna win about 10, 11 games this year with a high-powered offense. I ain't worried about that defense right now. I promise I ain't worried about them. They're gonna handle their business. And I believe Auburn gonna shock everybody this year. And I believe Jackson gonna end up in New York. And I want y'all to remember I called and said this. Like I said, like Edward said when he called, that schedule 26 might be a whole totally different schedule. This is their year to make something happen right here, this year right here. This gotta be their year. The offense gonna be so potent. I don't believe nobody gonna be able to stop that offense this year. I don't believe nobody in the SC gonna stop that offense. And I just want to hear y'all comment on that, man. That's all I got for right now, man. I
appreciate you, L Train.
I'll take next week, man, if I ain't working, man.
Appreciate you, big dog.
Thanks for taking my call, man.
Yes, come on back.
I just want you to see what I gotta say.
I love that. I think he's absolutely accurate in everything that he says. I think the only question mark is the offensive line, right?
Yeah, sure.
Preston Howard's.
I think play calling and meshing is going to be important too, but he makes great points. L Train makes great points there. I can't argue with any of that. I definitely did not see Cam Newton being in New York. I'll tell you this, when Cam Newton committed to Auburn, I was not into recruiting big time before that. That commitment got me into it, like for life. Obviously, here I am now.
Yeah,
and that was the one that got my attention. I want to give JD Piquel, our on-3 guy that does a great job of football, a shout because he made a great point. They don't hand out 5-star pluses to just anybody. So if you're a believer in recruiting rankings, and some people are, some people aren't, Jackson Arnold was a 5-star plus, guys. They don't hand
that
him
means out. He was a consensus 5-star by Rivals 24/7 Auburn. On 3, and do they factor in ESPN?
Yes.
Yes.
Either way, everybody agreed this dude's a first rounder.
Yeah, they don't just give those out.
So on paper, man, we just need to see it.
Gotta see it.
Need to see it. Good stuff, L Train.
He's got to be so comfortable.
Yeah,
what he had at Oklahoma last year as compared to what he has now, he can probably take a breath and go, okay, I feel a little bit better about this setup.
Yeah. I would agree with that, given the injuries he had on the offensive line and the injuries they had in the receiver core. But if I'm going to push back and play devil's advocate a little bit, nobody had ever seen Cam Newton play a snap at the college level beyond a handful of garbage snaps at Florida. You saw pretty much a whole season from Jackson. And so being able to overcome some of the adversity he faced last year, I didn't always love some of his decisions, but he's a young quarterback. And again, he didn't have a lot of weapons around him. And the offensive operation was so bad, they fired their offensive coordinator in the middle of the year. So how much of that can you pin on him? But I do think Jackson was a little bit more of a known quantity than Cam Newton was at the same stage. So the assessment of him not being in New York, I'm playing with a little bit more information. But again, L Train, point noted, you're right. You don't know until you get there. And Jackson Arnold absolutely is a talented player that has all the upside in the world.
Good stuff, L Train. Real quick, Zach, before our last one, Useless Rants on Twitter. Fantastic post. There have been some great coaches at Auburn. We forgot about David Marsh.
Oh, yes. Now, Olympic sport, right? Different, sure. You know what I mean?
But we didn't specify.
We didn't. And David Marsh has more championships than any coach not named Greg Williams, I would think. The equestrian coach. Isn't it Greg Williams? Isn't that his name?
That sounds right.
Okay.
All right. Good stuff, man. Thanks, L Train. You got one more for us, Zach?
One more caller.
Okay.
9332. You're live, and I believe this is EMAC.
All right, what's up, guys?
What's up, big dog?
Little River.
How bunch of vouchers this evening?
You got them tonight.
Man, I'm here to tell you, we made it to the dance, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Hope
made
we
it to
can
the ballroom.
Again, great show. I just want to add one thing for the coaches' conversation that we were having earlier. Man, at the time that Pat Dye won that Iron Bowl, I think the Auburn fan base was hurting so much at that time that win just means so much. You know, if any of us that were old enough to remember it. But shout out to Bruce Pearl and what he's done. But at that time, and when we won the Iron Bowl, when we went over the top, I think that was one of the greatest games that'll ever be.
Iconic, no doubt about it.
I apologize for the chickens in the background.
I love it, big dog. Keep them rolling. Throw them some feed.
Well, like I said, man, love the show. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen here, and like I said, we'll call in here on Sunday.
Let's talk next week, E-Mac.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
All right, big dog.
Fellas.
Go put them chickens up. It's nighttime.
Where you go, buddy?
We're going to have some fresh eggs in the morning.
Man, fantastic show.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You know, on a night like this could have been disaster. But Auburn, man, I was so happy for them. So proud of those guys man, it's tough to get this far. It's tough.
Yeah, it is.
It is. And I don't think people realize how difficult it is sometimes when, you say things like expectations to be the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the road with which you got to go to get there. You had to beat a Creighton team that had been to 4 straight Sweet 16s. And a coach in Doug McDermott that is second to none as far as from an offensive, scheme standpoint. And then you got to play the Big Ten tournament champion in Michigan with a player on that roster that obviously knows your playbook, knows your personnel. Dusty May, fantastic coach who's coached FAU to a Final Four, if that says anything about his pedigree. And then you beat Tom Izzo in Michigan State and everything that they've accomplished there.
Yeah.
So hats off to this team. Again, it's good to see a team play up to their capability in the moment and not fall flat for this fan base, because I think the fan base needed to see that happen.
Well, next week we'll be back, hopefully talking about Auburn's big win over Florida, previewing Auburn's national championship title game against one of the other two, most likely Duke, but who knows? We will we're also, listen, we got Big Cat Weekend coming up next April the 5th, Saturday. So we're going to be covering that leading up to that on Auburn Live on 3. If you haven't already, go check us out. Use the promo code FRIEND for 50% off an annual subscription. And because we're going to be back Wednesday morning with a recruiting show. We will highlight Big Cat on that. We'll be taking questions from the corner as well. And then, of course, we'll be back next weekend, like I said, next Sunday night to talk about whatever you want to talk about, man. Great show tonight. Appreciate all the callers. Appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate everybody watching. We'll see y'all next week. For Cole Pinkston, for Alan Head, for Zach in the back, who came to the front and then went to the back. I'm Jeffrey Lehman. Y'all stay at that left lane. See ya.